Thejamie and Stevens show. Let's talk movies, music, and magic.
Yay!
Hey!
Yay!
Your hosts, Jamie
And Stephen.
and Jamie and Stephen.
Jamie and Jamie. Yeah, Stephen's not talking during this one apparently. So, do you know what film we're looking at this week?
Yes, it's about
Good.
dogs.
Oh, brilliant!
Yeah, we've got animals again.
Yay!
But this time, obviously, it's with humans.
Yes.
So yeah, The Fox and the Hound. It was released in 1981. It's the 24th classic. And we're back to 1 hour and 23 minutes. So yeah, IMDb synopsis. A fox named Todd and a hound named Copper vow to be best friends forever. But as Copper grows into a hunting dog, their unlikely friendship faces the ultimate test.
Yeah, it's one of the best ones, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What was yours?
Society yet again tells us what is right and who we can't be friends with.
Yes. Oh,
I might be political on this one. Yes,
maybe.
yes.
No, to be fair, I did like in my thoughts at the end. I did write.
Yes.
It cost $12 million. Very expensive, and grossed 63.4. So nowhere near as well as The Rescuers.
So I believe that this actually was the most expensive animated film up to this point.
Yes, it is,
Yeah.
and obviously, Black Cauldron doubles.
Oh, yeah. But then it's a better film.
Oh. Directors, we have 3. Ted Berman, Richard Rich, and Art Stevens. I think Reitherman is a producer on this.
Yeah, so produced by Wolfgang Reitherman, Ron Miller,
Yeah.
and Art Stevens as well.
Yeah. Cast.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Okay, so young Todd is played by Keith Coogan. And he was a child actor in that era, so I think this is like one of his first films.
Okay.
People might recognise him from Adventures in Babysitting, but he did a lot of those teen films.
Yeah, I didn't get anything on him, to be honest.
Young Copper is voiced by Corey Feldman. Now, Corey Feldman has a little special place in my heart because he was in a lot of films that I grew up with as a kid. The Goonies.
Hey, you guys.
Yeah, The Goonies. And The Burbs. Did you ever watch that?
No.
That's Tom Hanks, and they're they live in like a suburb, cul-de-sac, and these neighbours move in, and they basically like the Addams Family.
Okay.
And Corey Feldman is one of the neighbours' kids, and he gets involved with trying to find out who this family is, and yeah, he was also in Stand By Me.
Yeah, as Teddy.
Yeah. He's also in The Lost Boys.
Yeah, as Edgar.
Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah, as
Yeah.
Edgar.
I'm trying to think what else.
He played Tommy Jarvis in 2 of the Friday the 13th films.
Okay, yeah.
He was Pete in Gremlins.
Yes! Gremlins, that was the other one.
He also voiced Donatello
Yes!
in the
Ninja-
1990s
Yes!
live-action Teenage
Yeah.
Mutant Ninja Turtles and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3.
Oh, the ninja one.
Not
yeah.
2.
Yeah, not 2, the ninja one. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know why I forgot that he played Copper. And, like, when I was watching the film, and you know that bit where he says, when they're, like, introducing himself, and he says, he goes, oh.
Yeah.
And Todd says, what are you doing? He says, what is it he says?
We're told to do it.
Yeah, something like that. And then he says, I'm Copper. I'm a hound dog. But, like, it's clearly, like, Corey must have been, like, 8. Maybe even younger. Like, really young. And, like, how cute his voice is. Because it's so light as that when he does like the Goonies and stuff like that. But yeah, older Todd is played by the wonderful Mickey Rooney, who would have been in his 70s, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
Famous child actor, grew up with Judy Garland. His film list is massive, but he was in Night in the Museum.
Yeah.
People might know him from that. He was in Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Yes.
I'm trying to think what else people might know him from.
I've put a bit of a list down.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm just thinking from the top of my head.
So he was in Babe, Pig in the City, Murder, She Wrote, and Golden Girls.
Okay.
He played Lampy in Pete's Dragon.
Yes!
Yes! He made a cameo on Weibo's screen in Flubber.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. And he voiced Sparky in Lady and the Tramp 2. He also played a small-time resident in the 2011 film The Muppets, which we went to go see together at the cinema.
I think Night in the Museum was his last.
I'm not too sure, to be honest. I don't know the dates of Night at the Museum, but yeah, he passed away around about 10 years ago. So,
yeah.
He was also one of Oswald's voices in the Universal's Oswald the Lucky Rabbit when he spoke.
Oh my God!
Yes. Yes.
I never.
He's that old.
I know he's that old. Yeah,
but he was in. He was one of the voices. There was different voices. It wasn't done in the same way as the Looney Tunes and the Disney shorts were. So.
Yeah, I saw many of his films.
Excuse me.
Growing up, because my grandma was a fan and she loved Judy Garland as well, and they did a few films together, and I think I have seen a couple of them. But yeah, Copper is voiced by I won't say young, although he was young, but he's no longer a child actor. You know, he's probably in his 30s now. It's Kurt Russell.
Who?
Haha.
Is he that old guy who was married to Goldie Hawn?
Yeah.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, so Overboard, the film that they did together. Big Trouble in Little China. He's been Santa Claus in recent years in the Netflix. What's it called? Miracle. No.
Oh, God, what is that called?
Because there's two. Oh my God, that's gone right on my head.
Yeah, what is that called?
We'll fight. I'm going to have to Google it.
Yeah.
Because that's really going to bug me.
While you're Googling that, he was in The Computer Wore Tennis Shoes. One of the films, although I've not heard of it, was called Follow Me Boys, and it was actually the final film ever, animated, live, whatever, released before Walt Disney's death.
Christmas Chronicles.
Christmas Chronicles.
Yeah, Christmas Chronicles.
And I think most people would know him now in the Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Yes, he plays...
Ego.
Yes, he plays Star-Lord's Peter Quill's dad.
And in What If as well.
Yeah. He did 10... This was his 10th Disney film and first animated film. So yeah, he was a child actor, and apparently he had nothing but nice things to say about Walt Disney.
Didn't he do... And you'll have to watch Behind the Attraction to find out if it is or not, because I could be wrong. But didn't he do some of like a reporting video kind of thing?
Yeah, I think
Walt
he
Disney
did.
World.
Yeah. Big Mama.
Yes.
Is played by Pearl Bailey, and her most famous film, I think, is Carmen Jones. She's in that.
Normally I would pick up on what other people have done. But like what films where you would know them from whatnot. But with Big Mama, so what we've got to remember when I go through this is obviously the situation with racism in America. Mm-hmm. Again, I told you I'd be political. Oh! So, I personally do not like the character of Big Mama in this.
Okay.
I find it a little bit on the nose.
Okay.
I link it up with some very stereotypical black characterization.
Okay.
However, knowing what Pearl Bailey has done in the past makes me think, no, this was okay.
Yeah.
In 1968, she received a special Tony Award for the all-black production of Hello, Dolly.
Wow.
In 1971, she hosted the Pearl Bailey Show, which would have meant that she was one of the first, and definitely one of the first black females to have her own show in America. One of the people she interviewed was Louis Armstrong, and it was one of his last appearances.
Oh my God.
In 1986, she won the Daytime Emmy Award as the fairy godmother in Cinderella.
Ah!
Yeah. 1976, she was the first African American recipient of a Screen Actors Guild Life Achievement Award. In 1988, she won the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Whoa!
She was also considered to be the representative of love for America.
Really?
Mm-hmm. But I didn't get the date of that, but it was one of the presidents that gave her that title.
Amazing.
And any fans of American Dad, the high school, Pearl Bailey High School, is named after her.
Okay.
So, knowing what she's done and how much difference... Because I've just gone through the basics.
Uh-huh.
But when you read on how she got the Presidential Medal of Freedom and how she did these and all things like that... it does kind of change my mind about the character of Big Mama.
Okay.
I've never really liked that character. I've always felt uncomfortable around it, even as a kid.
Okay.
Just didn't sit right with me. But reading into it a little bit more for this podcast, I think there's got
those
to be
things
respect.
that you were concerned about, you didn't need to be concerned.
No, because there's respect for Pearl Bailey.
Yeah.
And I don't think she'd have done this role without it being... Because she didn't need to.
No.
So, without
it's funny because it's called... Like, the character is called Big Mama. And when I looked her up on IMDb and I saw her picture, straight away, I thought the photo that they use as, like, her main profile picture reminded me on Queen Latifah in Chicago. And she plays Big Mama.
Yeah.
And
if you're
like,
good to Big Mama, Big Mama will be good to you.
So yeah, I just...
Yeah, I mean, it changed my mind on that character. And, you know, that we've spoken before, we've had some very serious conversations, and that was one that I was expecting to have.
Yeah, but it turns out that...
But looking at it, and it just shows what kind of person she was. Mm-hmm. You know, it wasn't like she just did a one-off thing. It was very much... I think, actually, when she did the Fairy Godmother in Cinderella, I think that was an all-black cast as well. And it was one of the first all-black casts on television.
Right, okay. Or would have that not been The Wiz?
One of the first.
One of the first, right, okay.
The Wiz was film though, wasn't it? This was a TV.
Oh, was it a TV? Right,
yeah,
okay.
A TV special. But, yeah. But no, I just wanted to focus on her a little bit.
For me, she wasn't in the film enough. No, I wanted more of her.
Yeah.
I really wanted her more.
I mean, when you're the best of friends.
Oh, I always sing that song.
Yeah. And it's perfect. Her voice is perfect for it.
Yeah, it's soft.
Yeah.
And it's warm.
Yeah, which it should be. Right at the beginning,
yeah.
when
when his
Todd's
mum's just been killed and
yeah.
he needs...
Well, he doesn't know that she's been killed.
No, he's
left
on
him.
her own.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the first creature he sees is this big owl.
Yeah. Yeah.
And luckily it's her soft and warm voice that comforts him and reassures him that
she'd reassure
she's
me.
safe. And he goes in,
like okay,
caresses her. You know, he rubs on her, and she's like, "No, not Big Mama, no."
Oh no, she's doing a voice.
Moving on.
Very much moving on.
Amos Slade.
The only thing I got about him was that the character Jack Albertson passed away on November the 25th, 1981. So just very shortly after this film was released.
Okay. Well, I put him down as Grandpa Joe from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Well, you were clearly looking at things.
That's the other role that I know him from. I mean, I used to have that on video. Yeah. I watched that a lot.
I watched it. It was recorded for me, but it was always on television.
Yeah.
Always. So, just talking about Amos, he actually beat our last two villains.
Really?
Yeah, he got through to, I think, round 2, maybe round 3. He went the distance. He did go the distance.
Oh. See, I don't know if he's really a villain.
The people of Threads have spoken.
Okay, fine.
But yeah, beat Madame Medusa and beat Prince John. And also, I think he went out at the same time as Shere Khan. Like, he went the distance.
People. Right. Vivi. Now, a few weeks ago, we mentioned... it was when we were doing Robin Hood.
Okay, yeah.
And you mentioned how Disney was looking at the story of Chanticleer.
Yes.
Okay, so Sandy Duncan,
Mm-hmm.
Who voices Vivi, is mainly a voice actress, and she is a voice in Rockadoodle.
Do you know who animated that?
Oh, have you got it written down?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
along with All Dogs Go to Heaven.
It's Don Bluth. Yeah.
And Jeffrey J. Varab, who also was one of the new animators. This was his first film that he animated on. Yeah. But yeah, he animated.
Yeah, she's featured in Swan Princess, so Swan Princess films, My Little Pony, and Rockadoodle. And I'm sure she is also in Thumbelina. But I didn't write it down, but I am 100% sure.
With Jodie Benson.
Yes!
Yeah.
Because she does her singing
Yes.
voice. Yes. So, yeah, I'm sure Sandy Duncan is in that as well. Widow Tweed is voiced by Jeanette Nolan. She plays Ellie Mae from The Rescuers. So, the one that's got the drawing pin as her weapon. And she's in The Golden Girls. She plays Alma.
Oh, okay.
So she's a guest.
Yeah, I don't know the guests as well as I should do, to be honest.
Chief is played by our canine-loving Pat Goodrum.
Is his final...
Yeah, final film.
Final film.
Yeah. Porcupine is Piglet.
Yes.
John Fiedler. Or Fiddler. Boomer, Paul Winchell. Tigger. He just basically tries to play Tigger in this.
He does. Yeah, I noticed
that. I was like, he just... Even the laugh he does the...
Well, the other thing that I noticed...
I think all was missing was TTFN.
What I did notice was Boomer has a bit where he's electrocuted and his hair goes fluffy.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch Oh Help It's the Hair Bear Bunch?
No.
Well, basically, one of the bears in that has the exact same hair. You'll never guess who voices him.
Is it Paul Winchell?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So we like the cookie characters then.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all the cast.
Yeah, a short cast. Yeah.
Songs. So there's 5, although, I'm saying 5, but one's like just a little lyrical thing that Amos sings. But yeah, we've got When You're the Best of Friends, which is, the music is written by Richard Johnston, and lyrics by Stan Field. Lack of Education, A Hunting Man, and Appreciate the Lady. Music and lyrics by Jim Stafford. He is from The Love Boat. That famous cruise soap opera thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Goodbye May. Goodbye May Seem Forever. I'm
triggered on that one.
Oh,
I couldn't.
Basically the poem that Tweed says to Todd when she has to take him to the forest. Oh, breaks my heart.
Well, do you know
the music was by the director.
Which one?
Richard Rich.
Okay.
And he is also the director of The Black Cauldron.
Well, we'll get more onto that one.
Lyrics
later.
by Jeffrey C. Patch, who did songs for the likes of El Dorado, but his film is, he does a lot of animated films, but I picked that one because it was a bit different.
So the characters of Fox and the Hound, Todd and Copper, remind me of my 2 kitty babies.
Really?
Yeah, so just the way that they play together, and we always say, they're the best of friends, and and stuff.
Yeah.
But also, when I watched the film, I noticed, especially as a fox cub, Todd and Binks do the exact same thing. They look the same. They do the nudge. When they got told off by for spilling the milk, he does the same thing. He doesn't do the pulling the sad face, but he does nudging, and then he apologises. And so when it came to the point when she abandons him in the woods, hit home to me. Because even by the end of the film, Todd doesn't go home.
No.
And that,
it's very, we'll get to it, because it is very one-sided, I believe. But anyway, right. Shall we dive into the facts?
Let's dive in.
Okay, so this was Disney's first animated feature to use, I swear I'm losing my voice more and more.
I thought you was going to say a swear word.
No.
I was like, what? Where? I missed this.
Yeah, the frog's coming through.
It's
croaking like I'm losing bits. Anyway, this was Disney's first animated feature to use computer graphics. Yeah. Most of the CGI in this movie is shown during the scene where Amos Slade traps Todd and Vixie in the burrow. So that's the first fact done. Tick. The bear's snarl is the same snarl as Shere Khan, the tiger, and Brutus and Nero, the crocodiles.
I was going to say also used in The Rescuers.
Yeah.
Talking of The Rescuers, Art Stevens worked for 43 years for Disney, starting on Fantasia, and not only did he co-produce and co-direct Fox and the Hound, but he also co-directed the previous film, which was The Rescuers. He also contributed to The Black Cauldron, however he retired very early on, so this is almost his last completed film. There is a story about him a little bit further on, but we'll get onto that a bit further.
Okay. Production was delayed because of Don Bluth.
Well,
is that what you were awaiting?
No.
Okay. So we spoke about. We've mentioned him
Mr.
the last several films.
Yeah.
Last week's film, The Rescuers, we noted that 2 years later, he will leave Disney with Gary Goldman.
11 animators, 17% of the animators.
Go with him.
Go with him.
Yeah. So it's one of these. Now I grew up with Don Bluth.
Yeah, it was. I always confused him, especially Land Before Time and An American Tail. I always thought they were a bit Disney.
A lot of people did.
Yeah.
But you can obviously see that that's because that's where he's trained.
Yeah.
However, I don't know if we should talk about it in this one. I feel like he needs his own honorary episode because I'm very much a fan.
I have a brief overview of what happened, if that...
Yeah,
we'll
do
go
the overview. Yeah, let's do that.
So basically, it was the last film for Disney, in Disney, for Wolfgang Reitherman. So basically, Don Bluth was animating the scene with the cow and
the milk scene.
Yeah, that's his last bit. As soon as he finished that, he said that Disney was too dated, old-fashioned, and he was done. Now, the 9 Old Men did the initial development for it, and Reitherman basically and Art Stevens had a huge argument because Art Stevens was more on the side of we need to progress, get this going forward, which is similar to Don Bluth, and Reitherman was no, we are doing it this way.
Okay.
It got to such a point that Reitherman walked into an office, told Art Stevens this is a young man's game, and quit the project.
Wow.
If that had have happened sooner, Don Bluth may have stayed. Now, we talked about Reitherman before, where he had a bit of an issue with Anderson in Robin Hood.
Yeah.
He was it went against some of Walt's wishes with the casting of Tigger in Winnie the Pooh. And we mentioned in The Rescuers that Don Bluth had said, I want to colour the eyes in.
Yeah, well, you noticed that as a detail that, why are they not white?
And Reitherman was very keen on saving costs.
Yeah.
And that would have been his way. Art Stevens would have been very much like, no, let's go and do this. And Ron Miller was actually keen and wanted to teach the new guard of animators whilst the old guard was still there. It was him that wanted to merge the two.
Yeah.
So one thing that I forgot to mention in The Rescuers, but links in with this, is the new team, Don Bluth, one or two of those newer artists were working on The Rescuers, and then because that film looked like it was going to be worthwhile doing, they were taken off the project, and The Rescuers was given to the old guard, the 9 Old Men.
Oh.
And that would be one of the things that would have peed Don Bluth off. So basically, you did have that old guard, new guard, and there is a big thing. And we see it later on as well, just a few years later, when Jeffrey Katzenberg comes in.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a picture on the wall, and it's like, how would Walt do it? And it's taken on because of how Reitherman obviously continued that.
Yeah.
With, I'm not saying he was doing the wrong thing.
No.
But at the same time, animation does need to move on, and Walt knew that.
He was very much moving forwards.
I mean, look at those first 5 films.
Yeah.
Snow White.
They're all different.
Pinocchio, Fantasia, Dumbo, and Bambi.
Whereas you can see with fear in the studio because they've stuck with animals.
Yeah. And also...
We've got Jungle Book, Winnie the Pooh, Robin Hood, Rescuers, and now Fox and the Hound. All the main characters, or most of the characters, is animals.
And this
because they've been so frightened to touch
anything
fairy
new.
tales, or go down an original road, or
Well, this is actually the first animated film since Walt's death where the film rights were bought after he died.
Okay.
Which was 1967, so potentially Walt could have already had that on the list.
Daniel P. Mannix was the author of the novel of the same name, but apparently it's loosely based.
Yeah, so the original one is...
I've got it on my phone.
Oh, okay, well, it's based on Copper.
Yes.
It's Copper's story, him growing up, how he becomes friends, but then he's told that you can't be friends.
Yeah.
In a nutshell.
Did you have any more to say about Reitherman?
That's kind of all I had for him. Production began in 1977 and Don Bluth left in 1979. So there was 2 years where there was an issue. Don Bluth then asked for his name to be removed from the film. He was embarrassed and didn't want anything to do with it.
Wow.
So he left on bad terms.
Oh, God. Well, like I say, I think we should do...
Yeah, there is a different...
I think there's going to be a bonus episode feature, because I feel like... because his films are really big part, and I think it still links with Disney, because if it wasn't for him, they wouldn't have upped their game.
No.
He made them force their hand to up their game. But anyway, we will get back to him.
Yes.
Right, so the novel.
Mm.
So, yeah, almost every aspect from the novel was either changed or eliminated entirely. In the novel, Todd and Copper were never friends and met by Todd mocking his human caretakers' neighbours' hounds on their land. Chief's and Copper's ages were reversed, and subsequently their roles of who was jealous of whom were reversed. Todd intentionally kills Chief by jumping out of the way of an oncoming train. Todd had 2 vixens that he mates and has cubs with, all of whom are killed by the hunter. Todd dies from exhaustion while being chased by Copper. The hunter was an old drunk, and the novel ends with the hunter being sent to a retirement home, and because dogs aren't allowed, forced to shoot Copper. I mean...
Wow.
For a start, right, I just want to say... Whoever read this book, right, in Disney, and said, "Oh, by Joe, we've got it!
Yeah.
We've simply got it! Our next animated feature film
is going to be about..."
But we are going to make it completely different. I mean, awful!
Yeah.
But very similar to, like,
Bambi. Yeah, well, it is compared
because
to...
Bambi, again, is loosely based on that German book.
So, Bambi is a book for adults.
Yeah.
And so is Fox and the Hound.
Yeah, well, clearly.
Now, you see, when we get onto the opinions and things like that, I do have something to say about this film and stuff and the time it was. But, yeah...
It's not from the novel.
I don't know who thought... Yeah.
Yeah. The novel has not got the hidden point or the moral behind this version. No. So whoever did come up with the moral is great, but to get the idea from reading the original, bizarre.
Yeah.
Basically, I just think they like the idea of the Fox and the Hound. I think they just saw the title and thought, Fox and a Hound playing? That would be... We could make that Disney.
It's a bit Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
So,
yes.
You know, so it's...
Yeah. Right, so I've got a little bit about people who worked on the film.
Yeah, I've got a bit about them as well.
Okay.
I tell you what, I'll go through the other little facts that I have.
Okay.
It's the last film to use the Buena Vista logo.
Yes, I made a note of that as well.
Yeah. See you ticking them down.
Yeah, tick.
And it's the final time to have the credits at the beginning.
Okay, yeah.
It's also...
Although, I know we're going to get to our thoughts.
Yeah.
But can I just say, see this credit opening?
Yes, I know what you're going to say. Compared to The Rescuers.
Now, this is how you open a film.
Yeah.
Like, the sounds in the background of the birds chirping and then the dog barking.
Yeah.
You know something's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then the music just slowly starts creeping in to the point where you're now seeing a mum and a child running from the baddie. Brilliant.
Oh, I mean, it's definitely
amazing
an
opening.
Film.
Very well done.
It's the last film that Frank Thomas and Ollie Johnson worked on.
Yes.
So we have to say goodbye
but
to
they
those.
they are in the background.
They are. This is
they
their
become
last
teachers.
active
Yes.
role.
Yes.
So you mentioned in the novel that Chief dies, and he's meant to. In the film.
It was another trustee.
Yeah. So basically it was Art Stevens who said, we've never killed a Disney character yet, and we're not going to start on my watch.
No.
I mean, it changes, but... Lion King.
Yeah.
But... I mean, Bambi's mum, you could say.
Well, no, because they just stopped drawing her.
Yeah. Oh, God. Who
and
told you that, Billy?
It's the same with Todd.
They just stopped drawing her.
They just stopped drawing her.
We don't know that she's...
You hear the
third
shotgun.
Yeah, I mean...
And the birds coming out of...
She never comes back.
And she doesn't come back, yeah.
But Chief was meant to die, and you know the scene where he falls off?
Yes.
The eyes
Uh-huh.
were reanimated.
Oh.
So, because he's dead.
Okay. But then they thought, no, we can't do this.
Basically. And they add the scene in when he's broke his leg.
Okay.
And re-recorded the voice when he said, you broke Chief's leg. And then the ending was not done at that point. But basically, there were multiple different sides. I believe either Johnson or Thomas was against it. They said that he should have died because... because basically, why was Copper going to kill Todd for just an accident?
Yeah.
It made no sense.
It would have been
Whereas
more...
the death is...
Yeah.
Yeah.
He needed to have died in order to justify how Copper snaps at Todd.
And you can tell...
And then wants to kill him.
And you can tell the way that it's done because when he goes up to him and nudges and he's like, Chief? And he's like, oh no. And then he doesn't say you killed him, but it's like, you did this to Chief.
He says, I'll get you for this.
Yeah. And it's because at that time...
He was going to die.
That dog was dead. Dead. But they brought him back and those animated...
He's alive!
The eyes were animated. I believe, actually, by one of the first female animators. I could be wrong. I believe... If I am wrong, I do apologise, but please look it up. I believe that it was Kelly Asprey.
Okay.
Who directed Shrek 2.
Oh! No, she must go with Jeffrey Katzenberg.
She must.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if I got that animation bit wrong, but she does go off and direct Shrek 2.
Because you mentioned Chief with the potential he should have died, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. This is one of the few animated films to show blood. You know, just saying.
Did you know who was going to feature as a crane in this film?
Oh, like a bird? The bird crane?
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Hazard a guess.
A crane?
Yeah, who was going
like, as in the voice?
Who was going to voice?
It wasn't Tigger, was it?
No.
Holloway?
No.
No.
Phil Harris.
Oh my God!
And do you know who was going to be his companion, Crane?
Don't say. Louis Prima. No, because he was dead.
Charo. So if you've watched RuPaul's Drag Race...
Yeah.
And he got Charo, what is it, Coochie Coochie?
Yeah.
Or whatever she says.
Yeah.
They were going to...
was that the guy that was Prima's friend?
No. Charo is the woman, the Spanish lady who in RuPaul, and she's got a lot of plastic surgery.
Yeah, I know who you mean.
They were to voice two Cranes, and basically it was just going to be them reviewing
what was going on. My God, they didn't do that.
And they were going to sing a song.
Oh my God.
Oh, when you say oh my God, like you haven't heard the title of the song. Scooby Dooby Dooby Doo, let your body turn to goo. It was decided that they may not fit in with the rest of the
definitely not.
Film.
Definitely not.
And it was cut out, basically.
That's twice Phil Harris has nearly been in another Disney film.
Not as a bear either, like that. I think he could have voiced something in this. Maybe the porcupine or the badger. The badger. Yeah. Because that needed that comedy bit there.
Yeah.
But alas, he didn't.
Right, so animators or crew, shall we say, on this film, who are going to be well known.
Yeah, we're going to know
this
who
film
they are
onwards.
Yeah.
Okay. So first up,
name a name, and I'll tell you what they've done.
Okay, Don Hahn.
Who?
Right. Don Hahn is the assistant director on the film, and he goes on to make
The Black Cauldron,
Beauty and the Beast.
Where have I written that down? Because I've written the word Beauty and the Beast because I tried to...
Yeah, Beauty and the Beast.
Okay, failed on that one. Name another.
An uncredited Tim Burton.
Yeah.
Did the character animation for Vixie. She was so different from the dark and gothic loving Burton style that he initially only animated her with distant shots. The close up of her was done when Burton grew to like her.
I did notice that she was different from the others.
Yeah.
And I did look, because I knew he did the distant shot of...
She's got a lot more of a pointy...
Yeah.
Nose. Yeah. And lastly... John Lasseter.
Yeah, I've never heard that name before.
Was hired at the animation studio. His first job was to do the introduction of Copper. He also collaborated with Glenn Keane on the climactic fight scene, and Glenn Keane will animate the grizzly bear that attacks Todd and Vixie. Yeah. This is, I think, one of his first big projects that he got, and then after this he'll go on to do very important animating.
Wow. Other animators or new animators on the film, they may have animated for other films previously, but these are like key players. Ron Clements and John Musker, who have become co-producers for, take a deep breath, Basil the Great Mouse Detective, The Little Mermaid, Aladdin, Hercules, Treasure Planet, Princess and the Frog, and Moana.
Yes.
Then we've got Jerry Rees, who went on to be the director of The Brave Little Toaster, which I would love to see, because I remember the trailers.
Yeah, I mean, I watched
never
that
seen
a
it.
few years ago, and I couldn't understand what the big deal was.
It's
to be
not
honest,
on Disney
but...
Plus. It's computer drawn. The whole thing is computer
I think
drawn.
that's what it is.
And John Lasseter was on that as well. That was his
Ben's mum said partly it was one of his favourite films he had on video.
Yeah. I never got it on video. I've never seen it. I've only ever seen the trailers on the beginning.
I think it's only like 40 minutes though. It's not
it's not a full length.
No.
But there's a few of them, I think. I think there's more than one.
No, I think there's just one.
Oh, I thought there was more than one.
No, I think it's just one.
We've got Nick Ranieri, who would go on to animate Beauty and the Beast, Pocahontas, Roger Rabbit, Hercules, and The Emperor's New Groove. Virgil Ross is better known for his Looney Tunes work, but he would start off on this film. Kelly Ashbury, I've mentioned, the director of Shrek 2. She did other things as well, but I thought that was noteworthy. Brad Bird, who went on to direct The Iron Giant.
And The Incredibles.
And The Incredibles. And
Ratatouille. Yeah.
And he did some episodes of The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Jeffrey J. Vereb, we've mentioned did Rocky Doodle. Also did All Dogs Go to Heaven. And Chris Book was the director on Tarzan and Frozen 1 and 2.
Yes.
I believe I've got another one, but I've written it on a different page.
And I'm sure in that documentary, The Waking of Sleeping Beauty, what is it?
Yeah,
Waking Up Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah.
That home video that's being made,
I think
that's
it
at
is.
the start. All of them
they're all in there.
are in there.
Yeah. Because
at some point in the background or goofing around or
Well, it's around the time of this film, really.
Yeah.
Oh yes, you mentioned Glenn Keane.
Yeah, him animating the bear.
Yeah,
he
in
the fight scene
on The Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast.
Untangled. Yeah.
Well, I just wrote the two.
Okay.
The fact that Don Bluth left pushed it back to 1981. It was originally meant to be released as a Christmas film in 1980. I wouldn't class this as a Christmas film. No.
It's I think they need to thank Dawn for that, because that was no way going to be the right film for Christmas.
No.
Yeah.
That's...
It might have encouraged more guns to be Christmas presents.
Yes, or I want a baby fox, because you can actually have foxes as pets.
Can you?
Yeah, and here in the UK you can.
Really?
As well. Someone I went to school with has a grey fox.
Oh.
Absolutely beautiful animal. Yeah, I have some things about the releases and the sequel and whatnot. But
yeah, I have no more facts. Other than Todd is derived from the Middle English word Todd, Todde, which means fox.
Oh.
But he was already given that name in the book.
Yeah.
So that author would have done that research.
Just as a bit of a link, Robin Hood, we talked about being Reynard the Fox.
Reynard the Fox.
Do you know what French for fox is?
Not yet. I've not learnt that one.
Google it.
Okay.
So...
We're going to Google
it now. It's re-released in 1988. It got its first VHS release in 1994, whilst its first DVD was in the year 2000. It got a Blu-ray in... She's just found out. People are interested. In 2011. And also has a sequel in 2006. It is critically panned by everyone, including myself. And features the only voice role of Patrick Swayze.
Well, we actually put the sequel on.
No, you didn't.
Yes,
you did
we
not
did.
Enjoy
and do you know
it.
what? I want to join that singing group. And is it Reba McEntire plays the female?
I've watched it.
Is it Bernie Bella or something?
I've watched it once.
And how Copper wants to join the singing dog group and Todd feels left out.
I believe I finished a bottle of something by the end of the film and still hated the damn thing. Did you find out what French for fox is?
It is Renard.
Yes.
Which is basically Reynard but without the Y.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's because of the tail, so it's linked.
Yeah.
And there was also a Fox and the Hound comic strip.
Oh.
Haven't seen it.
No, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all the facts I have.
Yes, me too.
So,
thoughts?
Go on then.
Okay, so obviously I've already mentioned the opening credits scene. Personally, I really like the opening credits scene.
Yeah.
I think Disney would have liked this opening credits scene.
Yeah.
even though you don't really need to see much, the way the music is done and the sound editing, you know exactly what is going to happen. And especially when the mum and cub make the appearance. You know they're in trouble, they're running from danger.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, watching this for the first time, I can't remember what that was like. But for adults as well as children, but mainly adults, I'll say adults, watching this for the first time, would have they thought instantly, oh my God, is this Bambi all over again? Because I think they would have.
Do you know what? And this goes on to what I feel as well, but I think there was a film released just a few years before this that they probably would have gone, oh my God, this is that film. Which I'll get onto.
Okay. So yeah, I give a massive... I know it's just opening credits, but it really does. You instantly know what this film is going to be about. We're getting a hunter, shooting animals... And then, luckily, even though the mum has clearly been killed, we see the, obviously Big Mama, and we know, okay, maybe the worst part is over, and we're now going to go into a happy film. I mean, she sings that song quite early as well. It's like 20 minutes into the film.
You're the best of friends. Yeah, it was the first time they meet.
Yeah,
best of friends.
Yeah, that whole
Clearly did shove them in the back room on their first shift, tidying up teddy bears.
Yeah, when they're meeting the first time, I mean, it's so sweet, and very when. Like primary school sort of friendship, They're not influenced by anything yet.
No.
They're young, they're naive, they're vulnerable, but they only see each other and they just see fun and games. They don't see that, technically they're both predators.
Yeah.
In the animal life, they are technically both predators. But in this story, there's one's the predator and one's the prey, but they don't know that.
No.
And that is what being in primary school, and that,
it's differences coming together, and it's only because of social norms that, well, you can't be friends.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. Well, this is it, and I put that they represent lots of differences.
Yeah.
And I just wrote down, it could be religion, it could be culture, class, as well as gender.
Well, I mentioned Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Amos is the Capulets.
Yeah.
And Tweed is Montagues.
Yeah.
Is that right? Juliet?
Whichever one.
Whatever, yeah.
It's been a long time.
Yeah. When obviously, I would have liked to have seen, and I think that's why obviously they went down the road of that sequel. I would have, when we rewatched it, I didn't realise that they're not really together a lot as cubs and pup. And I really would have wanted more of that. I felt that they weren't, you didn't see enough of the friendship to warrant what happens later to be the way it was.
No.
And I mean, when Copper is taken away, obviously, to learn how to be a
hunting dog.
And obviously Big Mama and that show Todd the skins, and it's like he still believes, oh no, my friend wouldn't do that, and it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Because as the audience, you know that isn't how it's going to be.
Yeah.
And it breaks your heart that he's going to be so disappointed.
Yeah. It could even be killed.
Yeah.
Because we don't know whether Copper feels the same.
Yeah.
For all we know, he could go, "Hi, Copper."
Yeah. And like you said, when she has to take him to the forest, I used to hate that as a kid.
So, I think there are two parts of this film that I didn't cry at as a kid. The opening titles, literally opening credits, when the mum appears, no, crying. Then, yeah, just crying until probably the last few minutes.
Yeah.
It was such an upsetting film for me. I very rarely watched this as a kid. And I think it's known as being a really sad film as well.
I find that this is more upsetting than Bambi. People
yeah.
always reference Bambi, but again, I think it's just all like that generation.
And with
to
Bambi
me,
being popular,
this is our Bambi.
Yeah. Oh.
And yeah, and I don't think it gets enough credit for that, even though it's got a lot of problems. Like, I'm not saying that this is a good film, but it does definitely pull on the heartstrings.
Oh, yeah, and I think the next time a film really does that, and I mean really does it, is Up, which is obviously a Pixar film. I think that's the first time where you know what's happening. They're getting older together, and she's going to die. And you've already had the issue with that. And it leads into it because you've got in The Lion King, for example, the dad has to die for the story to happen.
Yes.
And whereas in Up, you could argue that doesn't need to happen.
Yeah.
Like, she could go on that adventure with him.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, that's a Pixar film. So.
Yeah. Which we will get to
at some point.
Yes. Further down the line.
Yes.
But
Bob Iger keeps adding more films on it the ages. He loves this, you know. He loves this.
The climatic bear scene, brilliant.
Yeah, I really enjoyed, and it's violent, I will say that. Yeah. But I was tense.
Yeah, and again, as a kid, I remember always fearing that the bear was going to get Todd.
Kill one of them.
Yeah.
It could have been because I'd watched the film so little and we'd turned it off quite a few times. By the time I'd got to that point, I thought one of them's going to die. So when they didn't, and that's the only time I kind of watched it until later on in life, I still didn't know whether they both survived.
So, because you don't get enough of them, in my opinion, there's not enough of them as a cub and a pup. I think it needed maybe another 5 minutes of that. Yeah. Because I then felt the movie was stretched.
The ending bit, just feels when they're grown up.
Because I get to sort of see. I get you needed to see how Copper becomes the way he is. You know, so you can't. You have to see him doing the hunting training. I get that.
Yeah, but if you had 10 minutes before that bit, it wouldn't make any difference.
No.
Because I think it would balance it out a little bit more.
Yeah, but there are parts. Yeah, I felt that it was stretched. I think this could have been shorter. I think they could have easily gotten this down to an hour and 14 minutes or something like that. Yeah. The birds and the caterpillar, I didn't think needed to be there. It was put there obviously for a light-hearted tone because of how dark the undertone of the story is. But for me, I'm bored in those bits. I don't want to watch the caterpillar and the birds. I don't care about them.
No.
I want to see the puppies. Right?
All right, Quella.
For me, it's just got one good song. I know that when she's doing that poem...
Yeah, it's not a song, though.
No. It's just got one good song. And it is really only Todd and Copper that are decent characters, but we just don't get enough of them as babies. But is Amos a good villain? No, he's just a hunter, but with a bit of a... I don't hate him.
No.
I know that he is responsible for killing animals, you know, and he likes the hunting and that's his life. But
I will say this, I sit down and eat steak,
I know, we can't... Exactly.
Bacon,
We're not exactly vegan or vegetarian. We are
I
meat
don't
eaters,
agree with fox hunting. But
I don't agree with it as a sport.
No.
If it's to do for food or survival, yes.
Yeah.
But not as a sport.
Fun and games.
No. But Amos is, you know, and the way that he is with the Tweed woman, I like, and I would have liked to have seen maybe a bit more of them than the caterpillar and the birds.
Do you know what?
They should have been the comic relief and not the birds.
Do you know what would have been really, really fun to do with those two characters? Alter their ages a little bit and have them as... I mean, you can't do this in a Disney film, but have sexual tension.
Yeah, but just a hint.
Yeah. So it's a case of, you daft woman, and then they have like a little kind bit.
Or that, you know, you'll look back at her, or...
Yeah, just...
Or she'll check through the window to see if he's there.
Yeah.
You know, opening her little curtains. Yeah.
Yeah, and you could even have jokes in there like he doesn't wash his PJs.
Because they only really do that at the end.
Yeah.
When
and it doesn't make sense.
But yeah, because they've been horrible to each other, and then all of a sudden she's bandaging his foot up.
Yeah. For me, I've got two opinions of the film.
Okay.
And two versions. So, as a Disney film, doesn't work.
No.
Sorry, it just doesn't work. The best, for anyone wanting a really good reason for that, look at the scene between Copper and Chief when Copper's a kid.
Uh-huh.
And you've got two different styles of animation.
Yeah.
What will be, what has been.
Yeah.
And that sums up the whole film for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you said about the birds, they feel like an old Disney input.
Yeah.
That feels like something that could equally be in Lady and the Tramp.
Yeah.
Or 101 Dalmatians, or that era. But not in this.
No.
You've got a really emotional film that unfortunately I don't fits in Disney.
No.
So for me personally, as a Disney film, it gets 2.5.
I gave it the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gave it the same.
However, when you look at the film in the era it's made, and you mentioned about, I wonder if that's how people thought about Bambi and stuff. This is released, I think, 2, maybe 3 years after Watership Down.
Okay.
This is the era of Tarka the Otter.
Yeah.
Watership Down. Fox and the Hound. There were other animated films around this time.
Like social and moral issues.
Yeah.
Hidden behind cartoons.
Yeah. And you know what? As a film that looks at that and the emotion behind it, and that scene when she leaves him behind, and the fact that Todd never goes home.
Oh.
I mean, yeah. That, to me, that whole bit, if you was to say go watch that film alongside Watership Down, go watch it alongside Land Before Time.
Yeah.
I would score that high, if not perfect. Because of that kind of film, it is one of the best. But it's a Disney film.
It's funny because this could have easily been, if it wasn't for the style of animation.
Yeah.
And this
only
could
on half
easily
of the
be.
characters.
I would put it in with the Don Bluth.
Yeah.
Because where he goes with his studio and the movies he then chooses to make all have this dark undertone and social and moral hid, like they are in there. but covered up by cute characters. And lovable characters.
Yeah.
And characters you care for.
I mean, look at American Tail.
Oh!
It's like...
Every time, even when I was a kid, like sometimes I can't even think about that film without crying.
I never watched it as a kid, and I only watched it...
It was one of my first videos. Well, it came out the year I was born.
Oh, so it was a few years ago when I watched it, but it wasn't... I didn't watch it, it was just on.
Oh, no,
so
I
I've
had it on
yet to
all
sit
the
down
time.
and watch
Yeah.
it. But, yeah, so for me, if we were rating Don Bluth films or that feel of film, this would score near on 5. Because it's everything, but it's not. It's a Disney film.
Yeah.
It doesn't fit with any of the Disney films around it.
No.
Which sometimes I like. I mean, look at Black Cauldron.
Oh, yeah.
That doesn't fit in the Disney thing.
No, it doesn't.
But
like you pointed out, this is a good example of where the old and the new are button heads.
Yeah.
Because, like we've just pointed out, this could easily be a Don Bluth studio film. But at the same time, you know, Disney has kept a running record up until this point, and now to all of a sudden want to move forward in terms of audiences and blah blah blah. You can't do that with an animal film.
Not for Disney.
No.
Because obviously, as I say, we'll shut
for
down
me, if they were going to move forward in terms of storytelling, this should have been where the era that we're coming out of is space.
Yeah.
That's where they should have gone. It should have been more sci-fi.
Yeah.
Rather than cute furry animals singing songs or...
Also, there's nothing in that film to suggest that it's now. This is the past, and if you're trying to look to the future and move on to the future, what you don't want to do is be set in the past. And the fact
we've also pointed out as well, why on earth did they go down the road of making this story when it has got nothing to do with the original novel?
Yeah. I could understand if they were doing, the two people from the different sides coming together and being a friend. Brilliant. They could have done that. Fox and a Hound, though. I probably wouldn't have done those.
But by choosing those, they've then gone down the road that we've pointed out. You know, it's a predator and prey. 2 religions, 2 different cultures, 2 genders, 2 whatever, 2 different sides of a fence that, when without society's input could work together, play together, live together. But when society then gets involved, so i.e. Amos, Chief and Tweed, then they're told, oh no, you can't play together.
Yeah, because
and they question
Big Mama's
why.
You're not friends. Her whole song is, you're such a funny pair.
Yeah.
Like, you're not aware that you're...
Yeah, you're supposed to be enemies.
Yeah, and it's like, well, no.
Yeah.
No one has ever said you're supposed to be enemies.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think as that kind of film, as a Disney film, sorry, no. One of the lowest scoring for quite a while for me.
Yeah.
I think Alice in Wonderland might have been that. No, Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah, mine was Jungle Book.
Yeah, I bypassed that.
Yeah, because that's the thing. See the difference between this and Jungle Book. 'Cause I gave that a 2 and I gave this a 2.5. And the reason I gave this slightly higher is because it does still get me emotionally.
Oh, this is an emotional film.
So, and I still watch it. There's some really strong bits in it.
Yeah.
But...
yeah.
Yeah.
The whole story is just... The story is strong, the element's strong. But again,
Jungle Book had really strong characters. But a boring story.
Yeah.
So...
I mean, it just goes into the point where we were saying that Chief was meant to die. But Disney were like...
I know, and they should have.
They should have done. And do you know what? If they weren't making a Disney film, they would have done.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, quiz time.
Quiz time.
Yeah, let's lighten the mood a bit.
Yes.
Okay, have some fun. Right, so we are going to... Hold on. Yeah, right.
She's got a timer. She's getting a timer.
I'm getting a timer. Oh, it needs to see my face. There it is. Right. Oh God, my sweat is looking at me angrily. That's my learning my Duolingo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's an angry sweat.
He's.
This is I'm all in French.
And what's fox in French?
Renard.
You've learnt something.
I
new.
know.
Look at this.
I know. So what would it be? Le renard et le chien.
What? Oh yeah, the fox in But it's not though. The film in French, it's Todd and Copper, but Copper's
It is, yeah,
it's
yeah.
Todd and
Yeah.
Tuck or something.
Yes, Tuck and Todd.
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah. Anywho.
Anyhow.
Right, okay, quiz time. So again, 20 seconds. Okay? Right. Name 5 characters with names beginning with J. Come on!
Jasmine. There's got to be a Jack in something. John. There's a John. I couldn't do that one.
Stephen! Oh, because you did the A's.
Oh, the A's
So
was
quick.
Yeah, but I've not had enough sleepless nights to get to J. Now, if you'd have asked about B's,
Terrible. Right, let me get my J's.
I could only think of Jasmine.
Oh,
Jock. Lady and the Tramp.
yeah, you could have.
Now, I'm sure there's a John somewhere. Prince John. Little John. Johnny Appleseed.
Hold on.
Oh, now I can name them. I'm
Oh.
sure there's got to be a Jack somewhere along the line.
No, wait, hold on. Where are we? Let's get rid of that. Sorry, I have a list.
It's alright, I'm still trying to think of names anyway. When's this 20 seconds up? Jiminy Cricket.
Yeah. Right, hold on, let me get to the J's.
Oh, I've just done a 5.
D, E, F. Right, you could have had... You said Jack, didn't you?
I did say Jack.
Okay, so yeah, Jack Skellington. So you've got 2.
Oh, we're on about Disney characters?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you meant just from the animated ones.
I said characters.
Yeah, but I thought it was
Well,
just
that
animated.
is, it's a form of animation.
Yeah, but I thought we were doing the classics.
Okay. Jafar,
Yeah, I could have said that one.
but you didn't.
No, but I could have.
Jane
Oh, yeah.
from Tarzan. Jack,
I said Jack.
but as in from Cinderella.
Jacques.
Yeah.
No, I was saying Jack as in
I
from
know,
The
you
Incredibles.
No.
Like Jack.
Yeah, you said Jasper.
Yeah.
Jim Hawkins. Jiminy Cricket.
Yeah.
John Smith.
I said John.
Judy Hopps.
I said John quite a few
And
times.
if there's also Jane Banks as well, but that's live action. And yeah, and Jessie from Toy Story, but that's Pixar. But yeah. So
I said plenty of Jackson Johns. I think.
but you didn't know from what film?
No, you did, that weren't the question.
You can't just say. You could have then just went Jack, Jim, Jill, Jimmy, Jimmy.
Yeah, I could have, and I probably have got 5.
You got 2. So yeah. So yeah, those who joined in, well done if you got 5.
or more than
If
2.
you've been shouting at work all the names that Stephen didn't get.
Just sat at work going, John, Jiminy, Jasper.
And on that note,
Well,
oh,
yes, I do want to just say, we do sometimes go to quite a serious place with some of these podcasts, and I think this would be the right time that I personally would like to encourage people to do. If you're listening in the US, we've obviously talked about people coming together and society telling people about what's right and what's wrong and things. And I think one of the things that we can do is have a voice, and one of the biggest voices that we can have, or what I can see being had, especially in America, is being able to vote. And I wanted to use this time when we talked about people who have done well in, looking at different races coming together. We've had different animals coming together. We've looked over the last few weeks about different countries in the rescuers coming together.
Yeah.
Winnie the Pooh just having different characters all coming together. And then in Robin Hood, it was about, people fighting for what they believe.
Taking from the rich, giving to the poor,
And I just felt that at this point, with everything that's going on, especially with gay culture, it was just a case of, do you know what, go and register to vote. And vote.
I know. And we'll have to do the same this year.
And we'll have to do later on in the year.
Yes, we'll have to be doing the same.
To be honest, vote.
Yeah.
It's the best voice you can have. We look at Disney films. John Bluth wanted a voice. He went and did his own thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he tried to speak up, and he had his convictions, and he was so behind them. And look what he ended up doing.
Yeah.
And okay, we might not head our own studios, or we might not do anything but like that, but we can make a change by going into a voting booth and putting a cross next to what we believe is right.
Yeah.
So, on that note,
yes,
it's goodbye from me
and goodbye from me. See you next week.
See you next week for the Black Country. So excited. Bye.
Bye.